Hey guys, Jerdo here, and today's video is going to be a little different. So I'm actually going to be talking about my Recaros. So I'm going to be kind of going through an overview, the pros and cons of them. This is all from like a daily driver perspective. So I've been driving these guys daily driving in these for about, I don't know, 6 months or so. So hopefully I'll be able to give you guys some insight in ownership in terms of daily driving, pros and cons, and I'll kind of just give them a review as a whole, kind of what I think about them, and you know, if you should drop $1,000 on a pair of these seats. I'm gonna start with the pros first, so I'm gonna start positive. So the first thing, the most important things to me about these seats is that these are OEM. So these are the OEM seats from Japan, in the Integra Type R's in Japan. So these are the original equipment manufacturer seats. So that means that it's going to have full compatibility and full like the safety system is going to be fully working with your Integra. Your seat belt, your airbag, all of that was designed to be used with these seats as well. I know that the Integra Type R steering wheels are slightly different, but in terms of your seat belt and the safety aspect of these seats is unparalleled. You're not going to get anything safer than an OEM seat. I know there's replica Recaros. I mean Recaro in general is a very up and high-end brand of seats. You know that when you buy a Recaro, you're going to get something that's high quality. It's going to be safe. It's going to be tested. Same with Sparco. There's these budget seat companies like Energy, Cypher that you may come across. Basically everything on eBay that's less than $500 for a pair of seats probably doesn't have the best safety, doesn't have the best quality. You know, there's a pair of like red seats that look like these with rails and everything. They're like $300 shipped. I'm like, why wouldn't I buy those? The main reason is safety. You don't know what kind of testing those underwent. Probably none. You know, the kind of quality of the parts that are made. You know, are they just gonna bend and fold in half when you get into an accident and stuff like that? I know that with these seats that's not going to happen because these are the OEM seats, and they have the full safety features and the full testing that any OEM seat goes through. So I know that since these were sent from the factory in Integra Type R's, I know that these seats are going to be good and they're going to be fairly safe, simply because they had the testing, they had the rigorous certifications that is required in order to sell these seats. So I know that these seats are going to be good. I know they're going to be safe. And honestly, that was my #1 reason for going this route. I did want racing seats in my car. I wanted, you know, that look. I was pretty close to buying some Cypher seats. Apparently they have some certification, but I think it was only valid in Australia or something like that. And they are slightly cheaper. But at the end of the day, I decided that just going OEM was the best way to go. And I did get these seats. So OEM being OEM and indirectly being that leads to being safer is one of the main reasons why I got these seats. Second reason was that despite them being used, so obviously these are used seats, you know, they've been worn a fair bit, they're imported from Japan. One of the cool things about these seats is that the left-hand drive, so the North American driver's side of these seats, is the passenger side in the right-hand drive Japanese cars. So what that means is that these seats, despite them being used, the driver's side seat isn't basically mint condition despite its age. You know, these seats are probably around 20 years old, between 18 and 20 years old, and yet the driver's side, the driver's side seat for me, the left-hand drive, is in mint condition. Now that's because it's the passenger seat in Japan, and the passenger seat's not going to have the same level of wear and tear, the same level of use that a driver's seat would. So one of the main reasons was that I figured, you know, yeah, the seat is used, yeah, there's some wear and tear on my passenger side or the Japanese driver's side, but I'm not going to be really using that seat that much. You know, like that wear and tear is just going to be there, but it's not going to be getting any worse. You know, I rarely have people in my car. Really, when I do, it's my girlfriend maybe. Generally, this daily driver car is for me to get to work and back by myself. That's basically it. I run some errands by myself. Occasionally I'll have a friend, but you know, yeah, there's wear and tear on the bolster. Generally where the wear and tear happens is on the bottom of the bolster, where you basically you graze with your leg when you get out of the car. You know, if you graze that every day for 15 years, there's going to be some wear and tear. Mine's not too bad. It actually, you know, some Recaro seats online that have been used have even like a full rip or a full hole, a full tear. Mine is just kind of just worn there, but the fabric itself doesn't have any kind of full hole or anything or a full tear in it. So I figured, okay, you know what, you know, yeah, these seats have the wear and tear on the passenger side, but this driver's side seat is in basically mint condition. So since this is a seat that I'm going to be using, and this is the seat that's going to be getting the majority of the wear and tear, I know that it's still going to be lasting for at least 10 to 15 years, which is roughly the same amount of time that the driver's side, or my passenger side of the Japanese driver's side seat was used. So I know the kind of quality that I'm getting in terms of the fabric. You know, I see too many aftermarket seats that, you know, are cheaper and not Recaros or not Sparkles or not Bride seats that, you know, within a year or two, you know, the fabric starts tearing. You know, it's another thing that people don't think about is the quality of the fabric. You're going to be using this seat every single day if it's your daily driver. If it's not, then, you know, it's just a track car or a weekend warrior car, then sure, I mean, maybe it makes more sense to do that. But for me, if it's a daily driver, I don't want to buy seats and then have them, you know, have the fabric tear on me a year or two out down the road. Because I use them every day. So I know that these seats are going to be able to withstand the wear and tear that I'm going to be putting into them, simply because of the proof on my passenger side seat. So yeah, that's another thing. Obviously, if you're buying USDM Recaros, which are the black ones, that's not the case. The driver's side is going to be the same side. You're going to have the same amount of wear and tear that the previous owner had on it. But I mean, it still works fine. It's still great. And you know, for me, that was another pro, was that I'm basically getting a new driver's seat and the matching passenger seat with a bit of wear and tear, you know, which for me was okay. And lastly, the last pro that I would put, it's maybe a little shallow, maybe a little superficial, but it's the status. You know, a lot of people buy fake Recaros. Recaros is a very popular brand, but once again, very expensive, not cheap at all. These are real, 100% real Recaros. They're Japanese domestic market versions as well, so that even, you know, makes it look even cooler. But at the end of the day, what you're getting is real, is an authentic product, and these are very, what's the word? They kind of pop out. You know, when somebody that knows the scene sees these seats, they know exactly what they are, they know exactly where they came from, they know the history behind them. So it makes your car look, you know, a little bit more authentic in that way as well. You know, you're not rocking fake Recaros, you've got the real deal. So that's that. So we're gonna move on to the cons now. So now for the cons, obviously the very top reason why not everybody's running out the door right now and buying a pair of these is the price. They're not cheap. Let's face it, a lot of used sets, even in fair condition, are going for, you know, 800 bucks. It's they're not cheap, that's for sure. I lucked out on mine. I got mine locally. I actually paid $1,000 Canadian for the seats and the rails. Obviously, the rails are the same for all Integras, so Integra Type R will bolt on to any other Integra. So yeah, $1,000 Canadian, that's about $750 US. So I've lucked out fairly well, didn't have to pay shipping either because I just picked them up locally. So I got pretty lucky. Not everybody's gonna live in a city in which there's a lot of JDM parts like that. Some people do, some people don't. So you might have to end up, you know, paying them and buying them through a retailer online or eBay or something. You know, it's going to come out a bit more expensive. You're not going to get, you know, the same price that, you know, maybe somebody locally will sell them to you. And also you'll probably have to pay for shipping because, you know, shipping these things isn't easy. So I mean, I've seen them go from 800 up to almost over $1,000 US dollars for, you know, a pair in good condition. The thing is as well is that they're not going to get any cheaper. The older these get and the harder it is to going to be able to find a pair in good condition. Obviously, the older, the more wear and tear they get, and it's just going to get harder and harder to find these seats. So the longer you wait, I guess, I mean, they don't appreciate at any significant rate, really. But over the time, over years, I'm talking in the span of years, not months, in the span of years, it's going to become harder. They might even get more expensive. Who knows? Second con is that they're used. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a used seat. You know, it's something that's been used for a long time, and it's not necessarily something that not everybody's okay with. They're not sure of its history. They're not sure of, you know, if it's gonna, how it was treated in the past. So some people are just simply not comfortable with that, and that's perfectly okay. There are plenty of brand new alternatives, but these seats specifically, you're not gonna find a new set. So yeah, these seats obviously are gonna be used. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. You know, some of them have smells and stuff. Honestly, there's not a lot that you can't really get rid of in terms of stains and stuff. But just giving them a wash. You know, Recaro recommends Woolite in order to wash the seats. So, you know, just giving them a wash should be good to go. In terms of mechanical things, you know, maybe the back seat's a little looser than you want it to be, maybe due to abuse in the past. You know, it happens. once again, these seats are going to be used. So that's another thing that some people may see it as a con. Lastly, like I said, it kind of ties back to price. They're a little hard to find. I super lucked out. I think I've seen one other set in the last 6 months go up for sale locally, and they were asking 1,100 Canadian, which is still a solid price. So lastly, I'm just going to tie up this video basically with a review. What do I think in terms of a daily driver perspective? So I read up a couple of reviews, or a few people's thoughts on forums and YouTube before I bought these seats, and the general consensus was that for larger people, basically if you have anything larger than a 36-ish, 38 waist, these seats might not be for you. There's just the bolsters here on the sides that are around your waist start getting too uncomfortable if your waist is any larger than that. So there is that size restriction in terms of, in terms of being comfortable. I'm a 34-ish waist, so they fit me just fine. They're perfect. In terms of being comfortable as a daily driver, in terms of getting in and out of the car, that's another thing that I heard about, was people complaining that, oh, it's like so hard to get in and out of the car. I have to like hook my arm up here onto the roof of my car and like pull myself up. I didn't really find that issue. I kind of just, obviously I'm also trying to be careful to not rub the bolster too hard that's on on your legs. I want to avoid as much wear and tear as possible. I want to make them last as long as possible. So while being reasonable in that regard, I also don't feel like it's necessary to be super anal about that. You don't have to like, do acrobatics to get out of the car. As a daily driver, I just kind of swing my legs around, and then I kind of just put like step and over the bolster so I don't hit it directly too much. I'm not going to be sliding my leg on the side of the bolster at really quickly, and then that just causes a lot of wear and tear. I'm just being careful. Honestly, I got used to it really quickly. It's become a non-issue for me, at least, and my build and my height and stuff as well. Your height just also matters. So basically what I'm trying to say is, in terms of a review, you basically have to sit in it for yourself. You have to give it a whirl. For me, it just so happens that they worked great. My height, my build is very compatible with these seats. I have no issues getting in and out. I have no issues, actually sitting in them. I've driven for 3+ hours, 4+ hours, and I've had no issues in terms of being uncomfortable, my back hurting, or anything like that. So these seats are great. I find them extremely comfortable, extremely easy to use. Obviously, I would highly recommend them to anybody. If you're on the fence, if you're trying to decide on what seats to get for your car, I would highly recommend these. Once again, the biggest things, they're OEM, they're super safe because they're OEM, and driver's side's basically new because of their Japanese. If you use USDM, it's not the case, but still, they're still OEM. Once again, price, they're a little expensive. They are used, so if you're not uncomfortable buying something that's used, then that's something that, will probably stop you from buying these. And they're hard to find. You'll probably have to go online or something if you don't have a lot of that kind of, this kind of products locally. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. I've started getting back into the content grind. I just came back from vacation, so I was kind of slowed down a little bit, but I'm picking it back up. Got a lot of video ideas for you guys, got a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Instagram, will pop up right here. It will be at jerdo.dc4. And thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the support. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.